everybody, this resonates with a lot of people in the audience. No? Kasi together, it's only by doing it together, all of us, all the countries together, that we can save our planet.
Right. Okay, and to shed light on what we can do, mga practical things even that's doable, we have a seasoned advocate for food security,
Ayan, no?
environmental protection, and sustainable development. Okay? His deep involvement in environmental law began as a young lawyer of Tanggol Kalikasan, which was under Haribon Foundation. Alam natin lahat yun, no? Haribon. Okay, through his career, he has championed policies that strengthen both environmental conservation and agricultural productivity. And now he is the Undersecretary for Policy, Planning, and Regulations of the Department of Agriculture to talk on climate change and food security. Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney Asis G. Perez.
Actually, sabihin ko na may trivia lang ako eh. Nung when I was called to come today, hindi ako pwede tumanggi. Because before I joined, well, right after I passed the bar, the first job I got is a job at Haribon Foundation, where Chairman Galang was a board of trustees. So yun po yung aking unang trabaho. Kaya when Tita Nina called me up, I cannot say no to my former boss. Palakpakan po natin si Tita Nina. And you just imagine, it started, she was working along this line when she was probably, this was 33 years ago. And today, she continued the work. So the dedication, the level of dedication is phenomenal. You see. But going to the topic, ito po yung aking supposedly presentation. Start with the overview of the nationally determined contribution. How are we going to contribute? The agriculture sector, how are we going to contribute to the nationally determined contribution to mitigate the impact of climate change? Next slide, please. Okay. Please bear in mind that the Philippines is not just a contributor. It's a major impact area of climate change, particularly the agriculture sector. If there is any sector that feels the weight of climate change the most, it is agriculture. Why? Because even if infrastructure is affected, infrastructure is often paid for by government resources, while agriculture is fully capitalized, almost 95% capitalized by the private sector. And so in terms of impact, in terms of how it's felt, talaga pong yung agri ang nakakaranas nito. Just to give you an example, when a storm hits a coconut plantation, I'll tell you, for 2 years, walang ani po yan. So that is the impact of climate change or weather disturbances in agriculture. If the storm hits farmlands, rice farmlands, at any stage, especially during the later stage, then your whole harvest for the season is lost. And so, paano ka? Yung buong pinagpuhunanan mo over the last 3-4 months na wipe out in just one day. So that is how big the impact of all of these disturbances to agriculture. Very vulnerable sector. Number 2. But at the same time, we also share in the emission. Nire-recognize po namin yan. 43.7% o 43 million tons of emission comes out of the agriculture sector. At ito po yung contribution niya. So, pinakamalaki po yung paddy rice, which is 51%, followed by livestock, and of course, yung soil cultivation, which we cultivate, aside from rice, we also cultivate other crops. Of course, manure and many others. But as I said yesterday, we cannot stop agriculture. It is a must. This is something that you cannot say, don't use your car, don't take the plane. We have to eat. And so, we cannot not do agriculture. All we can do is to mitigate our emissions or lessen our emissions. Now, okay. The goal of the Department of Agriculture is to make sure that we contribute substantially to the reduction. The Department of Agriculture has put forward climate change options to the Philippine NDC in order to have significant emission reduction of 29.37% from a business as usual scenario for the period from 2021 to 2023. This is conditioned on the developed countries' provisions of means of implementation, including but not limited to scale-up provisions of climate finance, capacity building, and technology transfer. Ito dati yung sinasabi natin, you help us, we'll do this. But increasingly, the new administration is not limited to that. While our commitment is conditional, we should not wait passively. Kasi ibig sabihin, if they're not able to do their commitment, we will not be able to do our commitment. That is not correct. In my mind, whether or not they do their commitment, we should do our share. Struggle to do our share. And therefore, we have to be proactively implementing a robust climate solution to reduce our sector's emission while advancing resilient, sustainable food systems. Now, kaya po ba yun? And therefore, hindi pwedeng umasa tayo sa iba. Kasi pag umasa tayo sa iba, tayo kawawa. Because we are an impact area. And we cannot and should not depend on other people's action, much less other countries' action, in order to achieve our own goals. While we recognize that they need to be responsible, we can never count on others. We can only count on ourselves. And so, kailangan siguro ang estratehiya natin hindi nakadepende sa kanila, kundi nakadepende kung ano ating kayang gawin at yung kaya nating gawin, dagdagan pa natin. Kung kaya natin. And we believe that by doing this, we're not actually just following or contributing to the objective, but also making our agriculture sector more resilient and more productive. So that should be the goal. This is not about climate change. Pasensya na po kayo. Pag titingnan po yan ng agriculture sector, what we're thinking about is not climate change, but we're thinking about more productivity, more resilient systems, and better income from our farmers. Because for our farmers, that is what matters the most. Our farmers will not look at climate change as a concept. But our farmers can feel the impact of climate change and are willing to mitigate that impact to them as far as they can see. Kasi po, ang farmer natin, mahalaga sa kanila, may ani ba ako, may kita ba ako. Paano ko kikita, paano ko aani. So, ang isa pong nakita namin dito, pagtatanim ng nyog. Why? Kasi, alam po ba ninyo na yung ating 3.6 million hectares of coconut plantation sequester more than the total gas emission from the Philippine agriculture annually. Kasi po, ang atin pong total emission is about 43 million metric tons. But the carbon sink provided by coconut is 63 million metric tons. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang ibig sabihin nito, dagdagan natin ang niyog. Kapag dinagdagan natin, sino dito kumakain ng buko? Lahat. Sinong gusto ng buko juice o Pepsi? Sino may gusto ng Pepsi? Over buko juice?
Sila na lang, Pepsi.
Diba? We like buko juice more than Pepsi. But if I tell the farmers, the coconut farmers, you plant more coconut trees to sequester carbon, I don't care about that. But if I tell the farmer, plant more trees, people will buy your buko, you make more money, people will be healthy, it will make economic sense. And therefore, farmers will plant trees. See? It's how we communicate. It's how we encourage people to do certain things. Sometimes, this is what I believe is the area for improvement in all campaigns. Kailangan malapit sa tiyan, malapit sa sikmura, nararamdaman. You see? Because, by simply, by doubling the 3.6 million hectares of coconut trees, right now, the average is about 100 trees per hectare. But the capacity is actually 200 trees. Therefore, without increasing land area, simply by planting more, then you will double the mitigation effect of our plantation. Practical, simple, mangyayari dahil people will benefit out of this. Now, the other thing that I would like to tell you is that we realize that the poorest of the poor in the farming sector are the coconut farmers. So by increasing the number of trees in their farms, increasing their income, you don't only address the issue of climate, you don't only address the issue of health, which is to drink healthy coconut, you don't only address the issue of, fuel, increase biofuels, but you also increase or decrease poverty incidence in the farming sector. So, by focusing our energy into something that's doable, something easy, something that is clear, something that is felt by the stomach, we will hit many, many birds with one stone. Example pa lang po yan. So meron po kaming target to plant 100 million mangrove trees. Not mangroves, coconut trees over a period of 3 years. But what we intend, this planning period is to increase it 2 times. So we will push. Kasi yung po trabaho ko, planning. Di ba? Yan ang trabaho, commissioner di ba? So by 100 million, when we can do 200 million, you see, over a period of many years. Because that will address the fundamental problem of poverty in the farming sector. So, anti-poverty measure na to. Kaya kailangan ko kayong makasama para magsabi, you increase the budget of agriculture sector. You increase the budget for coconut replantation. Because it will hit many, many, many birds. Ayun. So, yun. Medyo maliit Naliliitan ako kasi this this plan was made when I was not yet with DA. So kaya pa to palakihin. Ayun. So may mga target areas na kami sa nilalagay. At gusto kong dagdagan yung target na ito, dadagdagan natin dun sa mga lugar kung saan mataas ang poverty incidence. The higher the poverty incidence, the higher should be the budget. And I will request everybody to help me campaign for a community-based planting program as opposed to regular procurement where you procure from contractors. If you do the community-based replanting program where the community members will be the one to plant, make the seedlings, they will make money out of it. So, tanggal pa ang kahirapan. Again, kailangan ko po ng katulong. I'm here with an agenda as I mentioned. No? I need people to campaign with us in this particular endeavor. Okay. We want to compose. Do composting is, as you've seen, problema tayo, kailangan natin. Yung gamit natin ng urea, 16% ang impact niyan, ang emission niyan. But if we do composting, laking tulong sana yan. But we have work on this, but we are yet to improve our composting capability. Sinusunog po natin yung dayami, sinusunog po natin yung agricultural waste. But our campaign now is to turn it into compost and turn this into, of course, fertilizers, lessening now the cost of fertilization. Can you imagine if you compost all the compostable materials and turn it into food? We are importing all our fertilizers. Again, ano po ito? Hindi ko sinasabing successful na. That's why we need everybody to help us campaign for this. Composting. How do you do that? Iba-iba po. Iba-ibang pamamaraan. Merong binabaon lang. Meron pong gumagamit ng composter. But the idea is, let us, do massive composting. Massive composting. Ito po. We need to produce organic fertilizers. Kasi kami sa DA sinasabi namin, we want organic fertilizers, use organic fertilizers. Farmer will tell us, nasan yun? Nasan yung organic fertilizer? Wala. Gustuhin man nila, hindi naman available. So I will call on, everybody to help us. Let's think about this. Because we know conceptually its value, its importance. But the question is, how do we operationalize this concept of having compost available in the farms? We are very good at concept, but operationalization is a different matter. Okay. Ito, ang dami-daming batas eh. Lawyer po ako eh. Pero mahusay lang po tayo sa pagbuo. Pagdating po sa pag-implement, medyo laki ng kailangan improvement, di ba? O, di ba? Dami-dami eh. Puro batas po ito eh. But, again, operationalization, we're not very good at that. And I have to tell you the truth. Don't look for the Department of Agriculture personnel on the ground. That function has been devolved to the LGUs. But we're looking at it, we're examining it, because the idea is for us to work closely with the LGUs. That's the idea. But what we hope to be able to do is to be able to deploy agriculture people on the ground from the department. Again, that is a policy agenda that I would like to request for your support. Maibaba po natin. We have 51,000 personnel. Sumusweldo po ito sa Department of Agriculture. Pero wala ho kami kahit isang tao sa munisipyo. Because that is a structural limitation. As much as we want to, that function has been devolved. So the Department of Agriculture is like a group of officers without men on the field. That is not our fault. That is the policy that is existing right now. And again, kala nyo, kayo lang ang meron akong agenda talaga dito. Hingi ako ng tulong. Diba? I will tell you the problem so that at the same time, you can help us push for this solution. Okay. Now, ito po yung sa compost. No? Meron kami mga ilang detalye dito. But, again, you should not be limited to this. As I mentioned yesterday, these are just examples. But the idea is let us produce compost. Let us not waste compostable materials. Let's turn them into fertilizers or whatever. Ang tawag po nila kasi dyan, soil ameliorants o kaya kung minsan tawag nila dyan, soil conditioner. Diba? Whatever it is they call it, let's not waste the compostable materials. Okay. Ito ho yung isa. Ito naman, this is both a mitigation and adaptation strategy. Alternate wetting and drying. Okay. This technology helps us minimize the use of water or optimize the use of water. By doing alternate wetting and drying, ang nangyayari ho, kokonti tubig kailangan namin. So kung kokonti yung tubig kailangan namin, mas marami kami ma-irrigate. So we can increase our production. Again, it sounds like a mitigating measure, but from the farmer's eyes, this is increased income, increased productivity, more food. Because if we present this as a mitigating measure to the farmer, they say, well, paano para sa akin? So sabi ko sa kanya, with less water usage, you have more farms to be irrigated, therefore more income for you. So yun ho yung translation sa farmer. Sa LGU naman, sabi mo, pagka maraming pagkain, mas mura yung presyo. Mas kaya ng tao yung presyo. So everybody benefits from this. So again, kailangan natin itong gawin. No? At medyo does it increase production? Actually, it decreases emission by half. Kalahati. Mahahati namin yung gas emission namin by half. Today, ang number ho namin dyan, out of the 1.5 million hectares of rice land, 100,000 hectares pa lang yung adapters. Ang dami pang tatrabahuin. Pag napadap po namin yan, then mas dadami yung mag-a-adapt and obviously, tatamaan natin, magiging kalahati lang yung impact ng paddy agriculture sa gas emission. Alright, manure management. If the department is only successful in managing its manure, then number one, we will hit many, many birds. Or whatever. If it's not birds, can be kung ano man, targets, no? Bakit birds? Baka mapagalitan ako ng mga birders dito. I remember Haribon Foundation originated from Haring Ibon, which is a bird watching society. So, money targets using one, no? Because, the first thing that we have is ayaw ng tao may katabing babuyan. Ayaw ng tao may katabing manukan kasi may amoy. But if we manage this manure, turning them into capturing the gas, number one, di ba? Na-capture namin yung gas, so kuha na namin yung emission target. Marireduce na namin yung gas emission. Turning this into energy, syempre renewable. Okay. Number three, the water and the separated material can be turned into renewable fertilizer na naman, etc., etc. Again, one action, many, many targets can be achieved. Because we cannot live without chicken, nor pork. In the Muslim areas, you can, but at least majority of the population, hindi pwedeng wala ito. Okay. Okay, meron pang ibang mga mitigating measures that we can think of, like the use of renewable energy in agriculture. Increasingly, we are using now solar energy for irrigation. Malaki po investment namin on solar energy. Yung mga solar pumps po natin, yung mga dati nating pumps, gumagamit tayo ng kuryente o kaya gumagamit tayo ng gasolina or crudo. We have converted them into solar energy. Mas malaki na po yung investment natin doon. Even the cold storage facilities now, we are promoting the use of solar-powered cold storages, especially in remote locations. Kasi po, for your information, ang pinakamalaki ho na loss natin after the product is harvested is what we call the post-harvest losses. Yung vegetables ho natin, sisters, mga 35% po ang nawawala doon dahil nabubulok. Yung isda ho natin, mga 40% po nawawala yung value. Just to give you an example, you see, pag nagbenta ho ako ng kamatis ng 10 piso sa farm, dapat ho mabenta yun ng tindera ng 35 pesos. Kasi po, over period of time, mabubulok po yung iba nun eh. Kaya kailangan po niyang i-cover the entire cost. That's why the rule of the thumb is pag fresh, 3 times from the farm gate. Kasi half of that, 30% of that, is allocated to spoilage. So if we prevent spoilage, therefore, prices can be more reasonable. And production will increase. So, mahalaga po yung storage. So, kaya pag may nadinig ho kayo, halimbawa na, DA is investing on cold storage facilities using solar power, again, please appreciate that. That is our effort to address, number 1, yung aming contribution. Number 2, prices. Number 3, income. Lagi pong ganon ang pagtingin ng Department of Agriculture today. The other thing that I would like to share with you is our view today that production or government resources should be focused on items that addresses 4 major issues. Number 1 is poverty, kahirapan. So kailangan siguro mag-agree tayo na all projects of government, not just ours, should focus on areas where high poverty incidence exist. And fortunately, or unfortunately in the farming sector, kung saan ho maraming mahirap, doon din maraming magsasaka. Kaya talagang popondohan ho namin yun. Pangalawa, dapat production should be not just production. It should be nutrition-based production. For those in the academe, you are aware, or if you're not, you should be aware that we're now number 2 from the bottom pagdating sa IQ ng ASEAN. Siguro alam niyo yan, di ba? Bakit? That is attributed actually to nutrition, brain development, the first 1,000 days. Kaya medyo delayed na po, sister, yung feeding program sa elementary. Kasi doon sa first 1,000 days, hindi pa ho pumapasok yun eh, yung bata. So brain development is severely affected on the first 1,000 days. That's why, in my case, medyo nakapag-aral ako kasi breastfed po ako eh. Saka nakatira ako sa Batangas kung saan kumakain kami ng legumes. Marami ho kaming legumes doon. Again, hindi ho siya mahal. Diba? Kailangan lang, we have to make this available. Yung legumbres. Diba? Dito, meron kayo dito yung KBL. Alam niyo ba yung KBL? Kadyos, baboy, at langka. O, diba? So, padamihin lang natin yung kadyos, baboy, at langka. Kahit wala na nga yung baboy, kadyos at langka lang, okay na tayo. Again, hindi po ito mahal. Ito po practical. Ito po kayang-kayang gawin. Yet, it will address many, many issues in our society. I think, sometimes the problem is we overthink. Malayo masyado yung abot ng isip, pero hindi natin nakikita yung sobrang malapit. Brain development is a function of vitamin A, B, of course C. Vitamin A is available in your pinakamurang gulay, kangkong. Yet nobody will eat kangkong. Kalabasa, 20 pesos per kilo. Nobody will eat kalabasa. But all of you will go to, saan tayo pumupunta? Ha? Sa umaga. O, sige, kayo magsabi sa akin, lakasan nyo lang.
Jollibee.
Ayun. Ano nakuha nyo doon? So, boss, alam nyo, sa mga educators po natin, pasensya na po kayo. Kailangan maging, and again, pasensya na kayo pag ako yung magbubungkahi. Talo ho tayo sa advertisement. Talo ho tayo sa marketing. Talo tayo. Pero kung alam ho ng nanay na mas mura ho yung kalabasa, 40 pesos ho ang kilo, pero lahat ng vitamin A requirement ng 10 anak niya, kasi 11 kami, ng tatay ko, kayang sagutan ng isang kalabasa na napakamura, siguro bibilin yung kalabasa. So pag binili ng kalabasa, anong gagawin ng farmer? Magtatanim ng kalabasa. Pag bumili ka ng kalabasa, nagtanim ang farmer ng kalabasa, mawawala yung kahirapan ng farmer. Because right now, kalabasa in the making, 5 pesos lang ang kilo. Sino naman magtatanim kaya ng kalabasa na 5 piso? Diba? Because there is no demand. Because talo tayo sa advertisement. Talo tayo sa promotion. Practical, di ba, Tita Nina? Practical. Very, very practical. Yet, sometimes, we overlook. Kasi simple. We want complicated solutions with too much math, too much writing, when the solution is right in our midst. Andyan lang. The lowly kangkong, the lowly kalabasa, the kadyos. You see, pinaparap up na po ako. But anyway, my message today is that life and solution is less complicated than what it seems. We don't need to be rocket scientists to figure this out. We have to be practical, self-sufficient, self-reliant, and look around what can be done in order not to mitigate climate change only, but in order to increase the productivity of this nation and make lives better for our people. Hindi ho natin kailangan ng masyadong matatalim na salita o mga librong sobrang hirap basahin. O kaya yung mga researches na sobrang lalim na, we cannot even reach and see. Keep it simple. Keep it fair. Keep it doable. And that is how we solve this seemingly insurmountable challenge of climate change. Maraming salamat.
Very simple na pwede natin gawin.
Oo. It's nice to know that he has a very environmental frame of mind. He started off with Haribon, and the fact that he advocates simple measures, like instead of increasing the land use, no? Just increase the density, the planting density of the coconut trees, no? From 100 to 200, maximizing the hectare. Very, very simple and very environmental.
Yes, and composting. I mean,
Composting.
yeah, you know, if we all compost and then just make this available to farmers, hindi na kailangan bumili pa o mag-import ng mga urea o ano pang mga chemical
Ay.
fertilizers, di ba?
Talaga, alam mo, yung Department of Agriculture is noted for the importation or the purchase of huge many bags of urea and commercial fertilizer. Mabuti diyan kumikita madaming tao, no? But at least now is talking composting.
Yes, that's good. And actually, when we talk to Yusek Perez, he wants us to conceptualize on how we can link itong mga compost that is produced by communities to farmers. We can talk about that further. Galing, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At masipag tong si Attorney Perez, ha? Instead of relaxing or after his talk, he agreed to have an audience with the youth and interested groups over lunch.
Yes, that's right. Nag-meeting pa siya with another group.
Oo.
There's hope. Nako, there's hope.
Oo, talaga.
Okay, so thank you so much, Attorney Perez, for generously accommodating everyone and for all your practical suggestions and recommendations. May hope pala talaga. All right?